morning everyone. Back to our live video again this morning. I think I was missing for a couple of weeks, but great excitement here today because we got our autumn bulbs in. Okay, so now is the time to plant your daffodils. Okay, daffodils, tulips, hyacinths for Christmas. Okay, it's a big thing. We have a really good selection just arrived in. Okay, the bulbs were being a little bit late this year because they were lifted late because of the weather. Okay, so I'll run through a few bits about the bulbs, what bulbs we have, what nice varieties are there and stuff like that. Later, you know, maybe in a couple of weeks I will do a planting demonstration with the bulbs, something similar to last year if you're following. Okay, we'll do lasagna planting, you know, where you plant the bulbs in layers and they flower slightly different times and you have a lot of colour in one pot. In great return out of it. I just picked this kind of pot because it's not very deep. It suits the lasagna planting. Okay, I also put a few ideas of different combinations that you could use for this type of planting up on the social media there in the next few days. Okay, so that's that. Few rule of thumb about planting bulbs for flowering in the springtime. Okay, the spring flowering bulbs are a little bit harder, excuse me, over here somewhere, a little bit hardier outside to leave in the ground all year than the summer flowering bulbs. Okay, like hyacinths and stuff, you have to keep lifting them and stuff. But like as far as daffodils, bluebells, snowdrops, tulips, crocus, you can leave them in the ground. Okay, you don't relift them every year, and you know, if you plant them in a pot this year and if you want a pot for summer planting, you can plant them in the ground then and they'll be good again for the year after, you know. So generally what happens with the bulbs is that like you plant one bulb that grows into a clump of bulbs. Okay, and this keeps getting bigger and bigger. This is how you get clumps of daffodils and clumps of bluebells and stuff like that. So that is generally what is done. I'm just going to open this bag to show you about the right way to plant a bulb. Okay, generally again it's easier to tell with these spring flowering bulbs what way is up. A bit more complicated sometimes with dahlias and begonias in the summer, but with most of the spring flowering bulbs you have an obvious root part and an obvious tip. Okay, so this is where the leaves come from and this is where the roots come from, so you plant it down this way with the pointy parts pointing upwards. Okay, as a general rule of thumb, you plant the bulbs twice their height in depth. So this one will go down this much. Okay, and the smaller the bulb, the more shallow they're planted. And if you're planting them in the ground, naturalizing them, okay, you plant them a little bit lower, and that's to protect them from frost. Okay, so maybe 3 times their depth. Okay, and that is it. Now tulip bulbs are very obvious, hyacinths very obvious, crocus, they're generally pointy side up anyway, guys. Okay, so that is that. Right, so we're going to run through. Okay, here we have a little background of about water features, but the background just shows alliums. Okay, so alliums, a giant allium and a globe master. Okay, the globe master is more compact, giganteum is very big, massive flower. Now is the time to buy them. Okay, and plant them. You will definitely pay 2 and 3 times the price for a growing one later on in the year. So nothing like growing your own one, you know, and having this fantastic display in the in your garden. Also, like we have that whole kind of bee thing going on here as well, bee friendly, you know, so a good few of the bulbs have that bee friendly thing going on, which of course at the moment with all the biodiversity needs and stuff like that is very important. Okay, one of my truly favourite, bluebells. Okay, the funny thing about bluebells is that you know, they're late spring flowering, they're almost summer flowering May. I always pick them, and I remember picking them for my mother's May altar So it always reminds me of that time of year. So I know it's early May when they flower. Okay, so the bluebells, loads and loads of them. Again, we are bee friendly with the bluebells. Okay, all of these can be planted in pots or in the ground. Okay, like I said, in the ground they've planted it a little bit deeper. So there's a large variety of tulips. I'll run through those in a minute. I'll just stop here at the moment for the hyacinths. Okay, if you haven't had hyacinths before, absolutely plant them now. Okay, hyacinths, planted now. If they're the indoor prepared ones, okay, they will flower now for Christmas. Okay, they are a fabulous, very intricate flower, but extremely fragrant. You'd nearly eat them. They're absolutely brilliant. So they're hyacinths in a range of colours. Haven't grown that one myself yet. It's a new one for this year, the Gypsy, a new one to me this year, Gypsy Queen. Okay, so they're the prepared hyacinths again, and if they're prepared this year and you have them inside flowering for Christmas, you can plant them out for next year and they'll grow away in your beds and borders or in pots. Okay, so that's then all the big bags of daffodils, the normal Dutch Master, Thalia, which is the two-tone orange. Over here we have, I need to show to you, Winston Churchill, the fabulous cream with the yellow centre. Loads of them going on there if you're doing a big area, you know. Snowdrops, of course. Snowdrops are tiny little bulbs. Don't be disappointed, you are paying you know, €7 for 20 small bulbs. Again, pointy side up. With snowdrops, this is one of those ones where it doesn't naturalise very easily. Okay, takes a little while. I would recommend that you plant 10 of those in each of a, you know, maybe a 13 centimetre pot or something like that for this year, and let them grow on, and then put them in the ground the year after when they're a little bit stronger. Okay, now they're absolutely so pretty when they do come, and they are reliable. It just takes them that little bit longer to get established. Okay, snowdrops. Crocus then, I suppose, is the next smallest little one. Okay, so we have yellow crocus, purple crocus, mixed crocus, and in the mixed crocus you have the striped one as well. Again, all bee friendly, and really are one of the first signs of spring coming around. You know, the way when you see a daffodil you think of spring, the crocuses are earlier, and they really are the first sign of spring. Okay, then we have anemones. Anemones are less popular, more popular as a potted plant here, and there is a third one somewhere. Oh yeah, at the very bottom, that lovely pink one. Okay, lads, they're extremely reliable. Such a delicate looking flower, but not a delicate plant. Okay, fantastic. Muscari, or the grape hyacinth. I have a fabulous little layering lasagna planting project in mind for this one here, the little grape hyacinth. Very low, very, very pretty. I didn't get the plain blue one this year, but I just got the mixed one. I thought it was much nicer. Mixed irises, of course, absolutely brilliant, because they are very reliable flowers. They're one of the higher ones now of all the things that we have. Any questions, of course, are welcome at any stage, lads, about any of the bulbs. Here we have a selection of the miniature daffodils. Jack Var, Tate, Campanella, February Gold, Ice King is not miniature, yeah. They're just some of the other varieties. Paper whites, of course, at the bottom are the fragrant ones. A lot of brides look to have them in their bridal bouquets. Extremely fragrant. There's a bridal one as well, bridal queen or something it's called. Okay, and the last thing then, really, lads, is tulips. Okay, so there's a couple of different things about tulips, right? So we have dwarf tulips, right? So these are low growing, more wind resistant. Flowered exactly the same, but just are that little bit lower, lads. They're fantastic for you know, if you're exposed or anything like that, like, you know. And then this one here as well. Okay, then you have the very, very regular type of tulip. Okay, Oxford Elite, Darwin hybrid here, Giuseppe Verdi, and Appledorn, of course. Very reliable, well known variety of tulip. And then we have the doubles. Okay, so the doubles are very, very pretty. Okay, so we've mixed doubles. We've the Red Riding Hood that we looked at earlier in the dwarf one. We have that in the double. Okay, and then we have the amazing, oh, this is double as well, Finola. Almost like a peony. Absolutely fabulous and fragrant. Okay, and then we have the parrot varieties. Okay, if you haven't grown them before, absolutely amazing, well worth a shot. They are absolutely stunning. Okay, so we have the black parrot, which is, I suppose, the best seller, and we have the parrot mix, which has all of the varieties mixed together. You'll be really looking forward to them coming up there in the spring. And then this is probably my own favourite here. Looks quite like ice cream, I think. You know, so as the spring bulbs are available now for planting for the next, into November, depending on when the ground freezes and stuff like that. Like, you know, you've plenty of time to plant them, and we're here to answer any questions at any time. Thank you.